was hier die BMW-Piloten gezeigt haben.
I did it. I bought the Ultimate Classic BMW. Classic Vintage Raw Performance. It's a beast. This car, I bought it. It's a 2002 1972 E10. I mean, what do I say about this car? It's magnificent. I love it. I kind of just want to go over a few like the performance things on it. Just talk about the car a little bit, go around it, show you guys all the ins and outs, because you know these 2002s are not that common. I mean, this is the first one that I can remember seeing that has the round taillights. I think I've seen one without the round taillights. I've just always had a thing for these cars. They're what embodies BMW to what they are. I mean, you see these new cars with, you know, all the electronic, the braking system, traction control. I mean, there's just numerous, I mean, hundreds of electronics on these new BMWs, which, you know, it's good and it is good, but at the same time, it really dumbs the car down, makes it heavier. It makes it just numb, it makes it feel numb. This car is just sheer driving pleasure when it comes to BMW. This was technically the first three. I think it was a 3 Series, maybe it was a 2 Series. I mean, this was the car before the E30 came out. This specific car is a 4-speed. It has a 4-speed manual transmission in it. This 2002 comes with a 4-cylinder. I'm not sure about the liter. I think it's in the ones, so it's a pretty small engine. It's a carburetor. So this specific BMW 2002, it's not the TII. The TII is a fuel-injected BMW. This one actually is carburetor. We'll pop the hood. So this little latch right here, it latches the hood down. It doesn't really pop it, but it just latches it. And then you just go right here and you pull it up. The engine is very small. It's like I said, it's a 4-cylinder. It is a carburetor fed engine. There's the distributor, spark plugs. It's pretty simple. There's really nothing to this engine that is difficult. I had to put a new battery in it because the battery was dead. When I got the car, it wouldn't even start or run. We had to push it onto my trailer, which was not easy. But I mean, as you can see here, you know, it's not bad. It's pretty clean. I haven't really cleaned it up. I wiped down a little bit of the grease on the outsides, but I mean, the car apparently sat for 15 years in a garage in Tennessee. So what you're seeing is probably how it came out of that garage for the most part. Another really cool feature is how you unlock the gas tank. You got to put your key in your gas cap and then you got to twist it. One of the main things I really noticed about the car right off the bat was the rust on the sides. The car, it's pretty rusty. I brought my dad with me and he looked under it, you know, because I mean, he has more experience with these older cars than I really do. I'm more, you know, new BMWs and whatnot. But I brought him, you know, he was pretty much saying, you know, the car's clean. It's, you know, the frame's not rusted. It's mostly just body rust. I mean, you can see here, it's on the door. It's on the fender. You know, there's a couple little spots that I try to touch up, which didn't look very good. It doesn't really matter because whoever buys the car is going to have to repaint it anyway. But there is a couple spots on the surface where the paint is, where it's rusty. You know, for almost being 50 years old, you have to expect that kind of thing on these cars, especially because back whenever BMW was making these cars, they did not dip the unibody in a rust protectant. They started doing that with the E30s, the late E30s. Some of the new ones didn't even get that. So that's why you find, you know, some E30s are very rusty and some are, you don't see any, some you just, there's no rust on them. So they started dipping the unibody, which really helped the rust, prevent rust on these cars. But that didn't happen on the 2002. That's why whenever you find these, most of them they're rusted out. If you can find one like this where, you know, it's just a couple little spots on the body that's rusted, you know, the fenders, you can replace that, you can fix that rust. But once it starts getting into the frame under the car, done. I mean, it's a cancer. It just spreads. The rust spreads on it. And, you know, that's why I really thought this car was gonna be a good car. You know, potentially a project car. Most likely I'm gonna sell it because I don't have anywhere to keep the car. I don't have, you know, whoever buys this car, I feel like unless they're wanting to spend big money, you need to learn how to do all the restoration stuff yourself. And for me, I've never done any body work. You know, I'm decent with the mechanical aspect of the car because, you know, you got Google, you got YouTube. But when it comes to body work, I don't have the tools. I don't have a welder. I don't have a spray gun. I don't have anything that, you know, I could fix the rust on this car with. Which, I mean, it sucks, but at the end of the day, I want it to go to someone that is going to appreciate the car and is going to fix the car and restore it to its natural beauty, which, you know, as of right now, it's drivable. You can drive it. I drive it around all the time. It's a fun car. It's got a sunroof, which I think is a pretty rare option on these cars. You know, you can see it's got rust in here. It's got rust on the fenders, like I said. You know, the engine, it misfires a little bit. I just need to tune it up a little bit better. I replaced the spark plugs, replaced the spark plug wires. I replaced the distributor and the rotor. But yeah, I mean, overall, mechanically, the car runs good. The clutch is good. Clutch is strong. Gets the job done for me. It does have Borla exhaust on it, an aftermarket exhaust. It sounds good. I mean, it's a 4-cylinder. How good can it really sound, you know? But for what it is, I think it sounds pretty cool. So moving on to the inside of the car, I want to talk about the Recaro seats that are in it. The aftermarket Recaro seats. They're pretty cool, pretty comfortable. I've never been in a 2002 with the stock seats, but I've watched a good amount of videos and read a good amount of forums, and the stock seats are not comfortable from what I hear. Over time, the springs in them, you know, they wear out. The cushion in it wears out. It's 50 years old, it's gonna wear out. So some of the restoration shops, they'll put new cushion in it, and weirdly enough, horsehair. So there's horsehair inside of the stock seats for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, I didn't read up on it, but they put horsehair inside of it. Strange, yes, but so they'll replace the horsehair, they'll replace the cushion, and they will replace the springs if you get them restored. But whoever owned this car opted just to get Recaro seats, which, I mean, if you're trying to keep it stock, then the, you know, stock seats are cool, but there's nothing wrong with the Recaro seats, especially because, you know, they look older. They might be from the time period of this car. I'm not really too sure about that. Now that we're inside of the car, I kind of want to show you some of my favorite features about the inside of the car that really stand out to me. So for starters, this, I love that. I love how they printed that on the dashboard. I think that looks so unique. I mean, normally, you know, you get that on top of the gear changer, but instead you get the BMW logo on this one. Focus it. So yeah, I really like how they put that on there. That's super unique. You know, nowadays that would be just an M, but no, they put the actual, you know, gear, whatever up there, which is pretty cool. I don't have too much knowledge about these cars, so I'm not really too sure what goes here. Maybe it was like a tray. You know, there's nothing there now, but I'm guessing it was like some type of tray maybe. They replaced the radio, I'm pretty sure, in here. This radio does not work. I have no radio currently, which I was thinking about putting a new radio in, but I don't know if I'm gonna get around to it or not. We'll see. So interestingly enough, this car had no air conditioning and no real heat. These cars were made in the 70s, so, well, designed in the 60s. So, you know, there was no heat, no air conditioning. The heat that you get is the fan blowing off, the fan blowing the heat from the engine into the cabin, which I find that pretty unique. This is your fan switch here. That's how you turn the fan up and down, and it blows through vents under here, which I'm not really too sure how. I think this is how you adjust the vents. I normally just keep them closed since it's pretty nice out. But yeah, you can make it cool air, which will blow from, I guess, just the outside of the car, and it'll blow in. So whatever the outside temperature is, it'll blow in through the vents. Another cool feature about this car is the windows. This right here is how you open this window and close it. You just twist this little knob right here, it really helps. Like if you're driving down the road and you know you want a little bit of breeze coming in, it'll shoot the air. You can see how it's kind of angled at you, so it'll hit this, shoot the air in, it'll blow right on you. It's actually really nice. It's like their modern air conditioning back then. The mirrors are really cool. I mean, you just adjust them with your hands. Nothing crazy, no electronics to the mirrors. They feel really heavy. I mean, they're really tight to adjust. This one does have both mirrors. Some of them I've heard do not come with both. Some of them come with one, and I think some of them just come with none. Another neat feature that this car has is a sunroof. This is how you open and close it. You just twist this little knob thing, and that's how you open and close the sunroof. I have it open since it's a beautiful day out. And you just push it up there, whatever. It's worn out, so it doesn't stay, but you know, it's just a few cool things about the car. Pretty much everything you need is mounted here and mounted here. You got your lighter, your cigarette lighter, your wiper speed, you got your fan speed, and your headlights, which you just pull out. And then this is how you adjust the dimming of the dash lights. You just twist it. There really isn't much to this car, so I mean that's pretty much all I really got for the interior. I just think if you know, oh yeah, the door handles are really cool. So what you do is you put your hand here and you pull up on the door, and that's how you open it, instead of, you know, opposed to pulling it towards you, or however, you know, you open doors nowadays. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You just grab it and just clench it like that, and it opens up. It does have roll up windows, which is nothing crazy. Most cars back then, pretty much all cars back then had that. The VIN number is just stapled right up on here on the column. 3 pedals. The car does need new carpet, as you can see. It's pretty worn, probably original. The car has 59,000 miles on it as of now. Like I said, it sat in a barn for 15 years, so that probably is accurate. My favorite thing about this car is how the windows are like bubbles. You feel like you're sitting inside of a fishbowl. It's just windows all around you. The visibility is amazing on this car. Oh yes, no power steering as well. Forgot to mention that. Squeaky belt, it goes away. Yeah, it runs and drives, that's all that matters, right? Strong clutch, windows open. Beautiful day to drive the 2002. It is quite noisy, as you can hear, which is not a big deal. We're gonna take it nice and slow, because you know, when it comes to this car, you're not racing anyone. 98 horsepower. It's not what you're trying to do. You're not trying to win any races in this car. Maybe on a back road if you got the right suspension and your car's running magnificent, that could be pretty fun. But as of now, she needs a tune-up. Suspension, who knows about the suspension. Tires are probably 15 years old. It's a fun car though. I do recommend getting one if you can. Bite the bullet, buy one, because if you restore it, this car is worth $60,000, $70,000 restored. Oh, there's nothing like that 4-cylinder. Bringing it back to BMW roots with that 4-cylinder.